Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing good. And I am back this week with a very interesting topic. And I wanted to like do a little pivot to another product, which is based on the Sterling B2B Integrator Foundation stack, but it is as important as Sterling B2B Integrator. And so it's none other than the product called IBM Sterling File Gateway, or right now it is called as IBM File Gateway. So IBM Sterling File Gateway enables companies to consolidate all internet-based file transfers on a single scalable, secure, and always on edge gateway. This offering has the capabilities necessary to intelligently monitor, administer, route and transform high volumes of inbound and outbound files. Companies deploying File Gateway are empowered to lower the cost of managing file transfers, accelerate time to revenue, improve trading partner satisfaction. But on top of that, this also supports hybrid cloud deployment through certified containers, seamless integration with RESTful APIs, and high availability through IBM Sterling Global Mailbox. So before we get into IBM Sterling Integrator overview and what are the capabilities of the product, I wanted to quickly talk about a typical file transfer topology versus an ideal MFT topology. So before MFT came into picture, if you see on the left hand side, so when it comes to file transfers, it was always meant to be point to point connections, which used to use different kind of protocols like SFTP, NFS, FTP, FTPS, or there are like different proprietary protocols as well. And technicians or developers used to scramble, right, to maintain this disparate system and think you have thousands of nodes talking to each other using this point-to-point connection, and there is another introduction of a new node to this entire architecture. And if they have to connect now all the other nodes to that new node, it's going to be a very tedious effort for them, right? So it's very hard to control. And think about the monitoring part of it. All the nodes are like in silos, right? Talking to different other nodes when there is no centralized monitoring that can be done, right? So the trading partner management overall was very tedious and used to take a lot of time from the most critical and expensive IT resources. Now, coming back to the ideal MFT topology, what are the benefits of MFT or managed file transfer? So before I go into talking about the benefits of MFT, I wanted to quickly give a quick definition of what is managed file transfer. So managed file transfer is a technology platform that allows organizations to reliably exchange electronic data between systems and people, and that too in a secure way to meet the compliance needs, right? So these data movements can be both internal as well as external to an enterprise and include various types, including sensitive, compliance protected, or high volume data. It can be offered as a software or as a service and may include a single pane of visibility and governance. MFT is more reliable and efficient means for secure data and file transfer, outpacing and outperforming applications such as File Transfer Protocol or FTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol or HTTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol, SFTP, and other methods. So organizations increasingly rely on MFT to support their business needs and goals in a way that SFTP, FTP, or HTTP cannot. So now coming back to the key features of MFT, as I mentioned, the first and foremost is the ability to securely transfer the files from one place to another, one system to another, right? The second important part of it is granular, and it gives you a complete visibility of end-to-end monitoring of a file's journey. It also helps you to audit the transfers. So when it comes to compliance, that's very critical that you are able to audit the file um, through different systems as they get transferred, right? And last but not the least, right, it also gives you the flexibility of doing checkpoint restart or recovery of transfers, so you don't have to like restart from the very start. You can restart it. Maybe it has failed in a certain step. Okay, and you can restart from that very step rather than doing it from the very beginning, right? So it gives you that flexibility in respect to the file transfer. Now, coming back to SFG or Sterling File Gateway, IBM has a bunch of MFT products in their product stack, like Connect Direct, Managed File, Sterling File Gateway, and few other. But the most important and widely used product is Sterling File Gateway based on my experience. Connect Direct I have seen is still being used pretty heavily, mostly in financial clients, where it comes to sending big files from one bank to another bank. They still use Connect Direct because it comes with that lot of other features which in respect to compliance and tight regulations, bank prefer to use Connect Direct, but they are also starting to use SFG pretty heavily as we move ahead, because it has those rich features as I mentioned, and we'll talk about them in next few slides that really amplifies the usage of SFG across different domains, including financial domain, as I mentioned, right? So moving forward, quickly touch basing on the SFG onboarding and data exchange. So as you see, the key capabilities of effective managed file transfer, uh, first and foremost is security, right? So it gives you that flexibility to encrypt internal and external file transfers both in motion as well as at rest. So you can securely transfer files with advanced capabilities like session breaks and protocol inspection, maximize the protection of sensitive data at multiple layers. It also gives you that simplified file transfer. That's very critical, right? It offers the timely and flexible data transfer across a range of file transfer activities and support for multiple file types, including multimedia, PDFs, email, XML, EDI, and much more. The third most important feature is full visibility. So it provides you a 360-degree view in almost near real time. So companies can see who is transferring files, what is being shared, and the volume passing through the system. So potential issues like delays and failed transfers are visible before they impact downstream business processes or become missed SLAs. From a compliance standpoint, it gives you strong encryption that helps companies avoid compliance failures, which can lead to hefty fines through audit trails. It helps you to confirm the regulatory compliance. So as you see, it really gives you that edge, right, based on the other typical methodology that we have when it comes to file transfers from point A to point B, right, from a supplier to different partners, from suppliers to internal customers or business units or banks and different other value-added networks, right? Now, moving forward, in this slide, I want to talk little bit about the different features that Sterling File Gateway gives out of the box. So as I mentioned, IBM Sterling File Gateway is an application which is used for transferring files between both internal and external partners. Now, it gives you that point and click configuration within a rule-based architecture. It provides managed file transfer capabilities to handle everything from high frequency messages, and huge periodic file transfers to high volume loads of real time data while leveraging the power of B2B integration to move data in transit and in a manageable way. With advanced partner onboarding features, it gives you extensive communication channel support and improved business process management. Sterling File Gateway advances operational execution with predefined event-driven business processes and centralized enhanced management. It provides you the end-to-end visibility, auditing and reporting services, and the ability to manage a large number of partner and protocols efficiently. So if you see the features of SFG in this deck, they are actually powering those features that I was referring to, right? About the centralized monitoring, securely transferring files in a more manageable way, and a point and click configuration, right? So now, as I mentioned, SFG is installed on top of Sterling Integrator. So behind the scenes, SFG uses the Sterling B2B integrator related artifacts, but it gives you the rich feature of a UI, which is more user friendly, where you can create partners and you can divide them into like producers and consumers. You can quickly create a routing channel between a producer and a consumer, and then you can attach certain protocols and certain like transformations if you want to, and then based on that, once the data lands in, it's going to kick off the Sterling file gateway related default business processes at the back end on the Sterling integrator platform and be able to help you move the file from one place to another place, including any kind of translations or transformation on the data that is defined within the routing channel configuration, right? And the good thing about Sterling File Gateway is it has a very good user-friendly uh, UI where you can track the file transfers and you can actually do a replay of thousands of failed files at one go rather than doing it individually one by one, looking into all the failures individually that we used to do installing B2B integrator, right? So it's more managed and more easy to use than Sterling B2B integrator. But there are certain use cases definitely where Sterling integrator comes into picture where SFG doesn't support entirely, but it like you need to see the use case, you need to identify whether SI or Sterling integrator is a good fit for this use case versus whether SFG or Sterling file gateway is a good fit. And in case your particular client is having both Sterling integrator and Sterling file gateway, that gives you that flexibility to choose either of them based on the limitations, the pros and cons of both the product, right? Now, last but not the least, as I mentioned, as you see over here, under the hood of Sterling File Gateway, you have the entire Sterling Integrator foundation. So it has all those adapters and services that I was speaking in my previous topic. And it has all those communication services, the integration broker, the different kind of web extensions that Sterling Integrator provides out of the box. On top of that, Sterling File Gateway is installed and it gives you certain modules in a user-friendly UX, right? And you can even quickly onboard a trading partner. So trading partner management is one of the module within Sterling File Gateway. You have this producer consumer concept where producers are nothing but partners who are actually sending the data or generating the data and consumers who are actually receiving the data. So it's kind of a sender and receiver concept. It has those routing channels. So routing channels, when I actually go through the product, I can show you what routing channels are, what routing channel templates are. Routing channel templates are actually the skeleton of a a, a, a way of defining once a file lands into a producer mailbox, what's going to happen to the file and where it is supposed to be sent out. So you define all those skeleton inside routing channel templates and use them to create routing channels. So a routing channel template can be used to create multiple channels. You have this role-based access where uh, you can provision certain users to be able to see specific uh, producer consumer related file transfers. So let's say you can segregate your users or partners into certain business units, and then you can only provide access to those business users by only providing limited visibility, right, when they log into my file gateway UI, right? And then, as I mentioned, there are certain report that you can generate based on the file transfers, based on different kind of failures, and you can really have those nice, rich analytics uh, derived from the reporting module within Sterling File Gateway. That's really helpful for business users who always used to rely on the technical people or the support guys or the developers when it was only Sterling Integrator. Because Sterling Integrator, if you want to search a file within Sterling Integrator, they always have to rely on developers, right? It's so difficult to go through each and every step or places within the dashboard to actually find the status of the file, right? So I hope I was able to make use of this time to be able to explain you the benefits of Sterling File Gateway and how it really helps to amplify the definition of what is called managed file transfer. I'll keep it short. Feel free to put your comments in the comment section for what you would like to cover in my next topic or in my next videos, and I can kind of tailor my